I remember watching Final Destination 5 when I was in secondary school. Everybody was shouting, "It's the last one, it's the last one." Here we are. Welcome to my channel. My name is Joseph and I'm a film fanatic. This is another movie that makes me regret not talking about the monkey because the monkey handled death as an entity far better. Final Destination Bloodlines. There will be spoilers, but I'll try my best to keep it minimal. Final Destination Bloodlines is a 2025 horror movie where an American college student can actually blame her nightmares for bad grades and nobody slaps that nonsense out of her head. She returns to the family she neglected to find the source of the dreams and save them from a very grisly fate. I love the Final Destination franchise for making everyday appliances or procedures very scary. Boo! The domino effect of death is always very entertaining. This franchise taught me a lot about safety because last people really have coconut head. You really want to tell me that they were dancing on this glass floor and nobody noticed when it was cracking? I really love that song. They used it very well. A lot of deaths in this franchise could have easily been avoided with common sense, and this woman proves it. As usual, there is a catastrophic event and someone has a premonition that saves a lot of lives. But what do you mean death starts haunting them and their family line down over decades? How many near-death experiences have you had in your lifetime, talk less of your ancestors, for you to be worried about one near-death experience several generations ago? It may make some sort of convoluted sense, but it just seems a little bit outlandish that everybody that died prior to Stephanie's nightmare was because death was hunting them down. Death just sounds like a bitter, vindictive person. That said, I genuinely feel this is the worst movie in the franchise because the premise was too much of a stretch for me. The first 5 movies were easier to digest because it was a singular event and a handful of lucky survivors. For me, it makes more sense that Death would want to collect 5 or 6 souls that escaped one incident than hunting down entire bloodlines. And then you see the main characters running up and down trying to fight or dodge death. As opposed to what? Living forever? If anything, they should acknowledge the force that actually gives people these premonitions. The MRI death was easily the best death in this movie and has joined the Final Destination Hall of Fame. Nevertheless, this is still number 1. More than any other of the 5 movies in the franchise, this movie really tries to personify death, which is something I really didn't like. Also, this movie is far more comedic than I would have liked it to be, and this is where I can't help but compare it to The Monkey. This is the only time in the entire franchise that they showed us some sort of apparition and it felt incredibly spooky. This movie's handling of death felt significantly less spooky. The thing is, they are playing death, or rather representing death, in a way that doesn't do it justice and actually takes away from how scary it could be. It has always felt more like an ominous force. One thing you have to give this franchise kudos for is the intelligent way they usually tie all the movies together. The ending of part 5 is still blowing my mind till date. Good performances all round, but I particularly loved seeing the guy from The 100. I love the fact that the coroner returned, and I love the way they incorporated him into the story and gave him a decent send-off in case he doesn't come back. Not to sound like a hater, which is what anyone says before the hit, but I am really glad someone pointed out how ignorant the two of them were in the end. At least these guys were in a hospital, and I genuinely feel that if everybody had put heads together, their plan might have worked. But here, you are not a doctor, you do not have equipment, but for some reason, you assumed everything was okay because maybe they deserve that overkill in the end. The main takeaway from all the Final Destinations is always death is not organized. You cannot control, predict, or understand it. You can't cheat death. It is literally one of the absolutes of life. She tried, and I genuinely feel if she didn't let herself die, the movie would have gone in a very different direction. Nevertheless, enjoy life while it lasts and always be cautious because death is around the corner. In conclusion, this movie is a 6.5. I honestly feel the premise of Bloodlines makes it the worst Final Destination movie, but not necessarily a bad movie. The gore definitely delivers, but I need you to watch The Monkey and tell me which one you feel handled death better. If you have seen The Monkey, please tell me what you think in the comments. I'll give you a little bonus for staying this long and let you know that The Monkey is a solid 8 in my opinion. So far, I think 2025 has been a really good year for movies. I should probably do a top 10 movies of 2025 so far. Again, if you've come this far, take a minute and just drop a like. It means the world to me. If you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe. I release fiction-related content every week. Share this video with your friends and you'll definitely see me soon.